All right. It's Wednesday, final Wednesday of May, final coaching call for the Hormone Success Academy. Ladies, how are we doing today?
It was not a good night. I
Oh
had
no.
I had a bad night. I
Oh
tried
no.
the CM core is like poison. I literally, I don't know what it is, but I started the supplement again 2 days ago.
Is that the
I
one that
took
it is?
I took it twice and I was up all night again last night, vomiting and shitting. It was horrible. So that's not my supplement.
Okay. So that's the one that we've discovered. Okay. Thank you for making that note.
Yeah,
I'll put a note on your account for
thank
credit
you.
there for sure. All right. Updates. Wait, Caitlin. Here we go. Sarah, Maureen, you totally unmuted yourself. What's going on?
I've been very absent. Yeah,
That's
I'm
life.
hot.
That's the
I
way life
know.
goes. That's
It's hard.
okay.
I just sent you a message. I'm very embarrassed. So anyway, I'm
Stop.
hoping that I'll still have access to the information.
Yes.
I was traveling the last 3 weeks. I traveled a lot in April. I mean, in hindsight, I probably should have signed up for a different session in the future just because of my life, and I didn't realize how crazy it was going to be. So, and then the December on top of it.
So Practice Better will still be available. All the
Awesome.
information will still be there. You can still track all of your food if you're doing the food journal. If you haven't had labs done, you're still going to get your one-on-one strategy session and labs with me. Like that is still going to go on. It's just really the only thing that's truly ending, or it's going to be like these
This.
weekly
Yep.
code. Yeah. So you can still reach out to me, questions coming up, things of that nature. That's absolutely still going to be available to you. I know Krista last week had asked kind of what happens next, but like I said, you will have access to Practice Better. You will have access to the patient portal. I don't just cut people off. So you will have all of those things. And what I've done is created a separate like folder that when you get the email this evening, we'll have access like direct links. So if you want to save that email instead of having to log back into Practice Better, you can save the email with the recipes, the handouts, that will all be there for you as well. But access still remains in regards to that. So don't worry if you haven't had your one-on-one. Don't worry if you haven't gotten your labs done. There is still plenty of time. And this is just the way that life goes, right? So it happens. We
Yeah.
we don't stress about it because we don't need to add any more stress to our lives and our day to day. We just take it in stride and go with it. So you're all good. You're not behind at all. The information is still going to be there for you.
It's so valuable too. I mean, I've been wanting to do this, and of course, I'm like, I picked the worst time to start.
You're fine. Listen, I always tell people you're never too late. It's right on time. It's gonna
This is
happen.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
great,
good
great
to go.
attitude.
Yeah. Sarah, any updates? I know last week you shared some good, yummy stuff with me. Are we still cruising and grooving?
Yeah, still feeling oh, still feeling good.
Good.
Yeah.
Energy is still continuing to improve.
Yes, the holiday weekend threw me off a little bit.
It'll do that with everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
But besides that, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Caitlin. Hey, Caitlin.
Hi, Dr. D.
How would you? That sounded hesitant. Are those
I've
new
been kind of absent.
bangs?
They come and go,
Oh, I like it. I
I
like it.
grow them
Sassy,
out for six
sassy.
months and then, mental
Fair
breakdown,
enough.
cut the bangs.
Hey, why not? We all have need a Britney Spears moment in our lives every once
Yeah.
in a while. We're good to go. You haven't been MIA. You've been right on time, right on topic. Is there anything that's been really challenging for you that's come up that you've noticed?
My eating habits, and I've known that
Yeah.
it's like one of those things you know what you should be doing, but you just don't do it.
Listen, eating is one of the hardest things. The hardest things. You can drink the water, that's pretty easy. Take supplements, that's pretty easy. But a lot of us have to rewire 10, 20, 30 years of eating habits. That is not easy. So, what I would say is always just focus on what is on your plate in the moment. And if it looks like it's balanced and protein, fat, fiber, it checks, don't even worry about anything else. And if it doesn't, still eat your meal, focus on the next meal and what you can add to it. So food takes a long time. Trust it's going to be okay. I just want you to know that again, because we're rewiring old eating patterns, things that we've learned. I mean, I think most of us grew up with the food pyramid where it was just very wonky and off dated, and they told you to eat 1,000 servings of milk and all of the bread and all of the pasta and all of the things. And so we're just rewiring our brains. And those foods we know are heavily saturated with fats, salty, and sweet. And they do that because they stimulate dopamine to keep you hooked on food. That's just a known fact. Companies have come out and said, yeah, we manipulate food because we want to keep people unhealthy and unwell. So take your time. It's okay. It's literally one meal, one day at a time, would be what I would say.
I have a couple questions about the food balancing thing because I've
Sure.
been doing it.
I was
Um,
looking at your food journal today, Samantha. You've had a couple of really great days where your numbers were there.
yeah, I mean, I've had a couple days in between that I was sick, so I was like literally eating like Triscuits
Okay.
after vomiting. But
Okay.
the days that I was able to eat properly, like I've been doing well. My thing that's hard is, first of all, question, I don't know how I will ever get to 120 grams of protein a day. Like I literally like how do I
That's okay.
is there a because I know with the what's it called, the carbs and the fat, you were like, this is the max of the target. Is
Correct.
there is there a number that you could give me that you go like, this is the ideal for each three, so that instead of going to, because I've been under in all of it, like I've been keeping it generally balanced.
Yep.
Um, but
Stick to
I can't get the amount of protein. I don't want to do that much protein supplements
hmm
because the supplements aren't working so nicely with my body at the moment
hmm
and whatnot. So I'm trying to up it with like the way that I'm eating, but I feel like it's an unreachable target. Like I've never hit the protein. So like, is there three numbers that I can set, even if it's in my mind, that I go, instead of this being the max, this is the ideal for who I am and what I should be eating? Because then it gives me I feel like it gives me a little bit of a different perspective when I'm doing my meals.
So, great question. So, if you don't hit 120, that's completely okay. And I know that everyone always talk about it as protein, but here is the key. As long as you keep protein moderate. So, even if you hit 90, anywhere from at least 90 grams a day, like
Okay.
at minimum 90. But the thing is, you cannot have carbs and fats both elevated. Carbs and fats keep you in fat storage mode. Carbs and fats keep out insulin high, keep you fatigued. So when you're looking at your numbers, if your protein is moderate, that's fine, 90 grams, even 85 grams. But if your fats are 90 grams and then your carbs are 200, you will stay in a high insulin space. You will stay holding on to fat.
So as long as my other because my other numbers I'm fine, I've been fine staying under, like at or under. And for the most part, it's been under because I found that now that I'm actually eating breakfast, I don't gorge myself on lunch and eat 800 things. And so I've been eating actual balanced meals and I can stay at like a relatively balanced, but I'm not hitting those numbers generally. So I go like, is that okay as long as I'm full and I'm eating balanced meals and I'm hitting like X amount of protein, X amount of fats, X amount of carbs, like great,
Yes,
as long as none of it's going like way, out of kilter.
correct.
Okay, great.
Correct. At the end of the day, when you see that little circle, you do not want your carbs and fats to be the dominant things that you're seeing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
So
if
you
your
want
carbs are high, yeah, go ahead.
your protein and one other thing can be the higher, but then you want something else to be a lower. And
Correct.
so that your protein's on the upper echelon. My other question is I'm still not my numbers I have to manually reset every day.
That's so
Um,
strange.
and I don't know why, but it's a pain because I'll forget sometimes and then I'll go through the day and go like, oh, I hit my protein. And then I'm like, oh no, I
I wonder why
totally
that
didn't.
is.
Not even close.
I will have to, I'll send Practice Better a message, maybe something on their end, but I have a lot of people that use Chronometer and they aren't, but I will have to figure out what that is in terms of an IT. So that's just me reaching out
Sure.
to
Yeah.
Practice
I mean,
Better.
I can do it each day, but it would be nice if
That's
it was
annoying.
already set at my
No,
numbers. Cause then
that's
you go like,
annoying to
if you
do.
forget and you're just like plugging things in, it's like my protein is like half of what it should be. My carbs are twice of what it like, it's the numbers are so skewed that I get partway
Right.
through the day and then I go, oh shit, I'm off.
Right.
Um,
I'll have to just reach out to Practice Better and see what's going on in regards to
thank you.
that. Yeah. Caitlin, anything else food specific wise?
I have a random
Oh,
question.
I love
It's kind
random
of
questions. Yeah.
um in the like area of put clothing on your carbs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Um, I once came across something that said if you made like potatoes or rice and then put them in the fridge overnight, they become a resistant starch. Is
Starch.
that
Yeah.
equivalent to putting clothes on your carbs, or
Ooh,
would
that's a
you
great
still
question.
want something else
Hold on.
paired with
What's
that?
close on your carbs? And I want to hear more about this.
Oh
I love
yeah,
that.
so no naked carbs. So no matter where you are in your journey, perimenopause, postmenopause, still having a cycle, whether you want to lose weight or don't want to lose weight, always eating a carbohydrate with a friend, so it's not naked, is going to ensure that you actually stay satiated, number one. It's not going to give you a crazy insulin spike after your meal. Resistant starch, though, if you put a starch in the fridge and cool it down, you know what? That's a great, that's a really great question. I know resistant starches are really great for gut health, and they shouldn't spike your blood sugar as much. I'm gonna say that would probably actually be a non-naked carb if I kind of rationale and reason through it. Yeah, that's actually really great. I'm gonna have to do some deeper diving into that, but I would say
So
that
like,
that would be a
so
dressing up your carb.
ideal if you're gonna eat carbs, because I'm not doing the zero carbs after 3 p.m. right now because
That's
I'll
okay.
die.
Okay.
So I'm doing, let's just be real.
Yeah,
I'm doing less carbs, but I'll
fantastic.
potentially like I'm not gonna eat like a salmon burger plain because that feels rude. So like I'll make sure that whatever, but you go like if it's a what Caitlin, what was it? The cooled down, the
A
Resistant
resistant
starch.
starch.
a resistant starch, that's a better option for a carb than like a fresh made pasta. Like if I had like a
Correct.
pasta salad or like a potato salad that's overnight in the fridge, that's a better selection.
Yes,
Okay.
essentially because you're not going to have that immediate spike. It slows down how much carbs, aka glucose, will be then dumped into the blood after you eat a meal.
Amazing. Do we have any other tricks like that, Caitlin? Because I love that.
Potato hack right there, and vodka.
The
They're
100%. That sounds fabulous. And like, cause we're going into potato salad season. Like,
correct.
Mama needs some potato salad. I gotta say.
Listen, I want you all to be able to enjoy those meals, but at the end of the day, we still have to remember there still needs to be some level of balance throughout your day and throughout your week. So you're not going to gain 5 pounds overnight. It's just not going to happen.
I
If you go
can.
to, if
I
it's
do.
water weight, it's
You
I
water
do.
weight.
could.
It's water weight. I'm
So
telling you
what
right
The
now, it's
water
water
doesn't go
weight.
away then.
what
It's
do we do with that though? Because I have to say, I mean, I've also had some like serious gastrointestinal stuff this past couple of weeks, as you know, but like
Mhm.
I like legitimately feel like people I had a month where 4 people asked me if I was pregnant, and I looked at them and I said, "I'm just fat now. This is how I am." But like,
People should
how
shut their mouths.
with the like water weight and the gap when you just feel like bloated
Yeah.
and like I don't know, oversaturated. Like, what do you do with that? Like, how does that?
Couple things come to mind if you're constantly bloating, or Caitlin, because I never want to validate, if you are like, why does the scale keep going up every freaking night? Couple of things to consider. You'd have to have eaten at least 7,000 calories, which is a lot of food for that to gain 1 pound of fat. Okay, just remember that 7,000 calories, which most of us are not consuming. We might get about 35, 4,000. So if you were like the scale keeps going up every single night, I would look at your hidden sources of carbs, right? Because again, there's a lot of foods that are marketed as healthy and high protein that yes, they're high-ish protein, but they still have like Bear Bell bars. They still have almost 20, 30 grams of carbs in a little bar. Aloha bars, perfect bars. So we don't realize where these carbohydrates are sneaking into our day. Carbohydrates, right? So carbs hydrate, we retain water. That's what they do. Carbohydrates fill you up. It's in the name itself, carbohydrates. So if that could be one thing. The second thing, where are you in your cycle? We do know that estrogen loves to hold on to water. So if you know that you already have an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone, whether it's not enough progesterone or too much estrogen, you will naturally hold on to water easier than someone whose estrogen and progesterone are happy and best friends. So the second thing is cycle related. Third thing is you could have a food sensitivity. So food sensitivities can happen up to 72 hours after eating a meal. Not a food allergy, a sensitivity. So allergies are immediate, they're anaphylaxis, your airway is shutting down, you have hives, it's very visible. Food sensitivities, 72 hours later. So you could eat something on a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're reacting to it. So that could be another combination. Food sensitivities are often I shouldn't say often, but sometimes hidden culprits as to why that weight keeps coming on. Another, again, and I know there's a lot there, but another potential is if you have any mold overgrowth. A lot of the foods in our food system are moldy. Coffee, beans, rice, legumes. Mycotoxins and molds can make it harder. They're like obesogens. They tell your body to hold on to that. Hold on to fat. Hold on to fat. Don't let it go. Also, remember the more fat you eat in your diet, it just gets converted to fat. We don't store it as like energy. Like there's no steps breakdown. When you eat a carbohydrate, it has to be broken down and then gets stored. Fats, they get stored right away. So I would, again, I know that was a lot just now, Caitlin, but those would be the questions that I would ask again, like where are you in your cycle? Could it be a food sensitivity? How much moldy foods are you eating in your diet? What's the fat to carb ratio? And how much carbs are you consuming? Yeah, she's like,
And
F my life.
the the lymphedema therapist in me also, like, just check your pathways, like see if anything's clogged, like if you notice any one area feels more puffy than another, like a backup in one area can make a whole backup everywhere. So
Yes,
even just like walking can help get things, and deep
flowing.
breathing. Deep breathing is really good for your lymphatic system.
So good. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing that. Even a 10-minute walk after a meal will help with getting things flowing, reduces insulin spikes, and it could be 10 minutes of a walk, and that could be even 2 hours after you finish eating. It doesn't have to be right away. That can do it too. So get things flowing, get things moving. How often are you pooping? And all these questions would be things to consider as well. But if you're like that scale keeps going up every single night, those would be the questions that I start with. Where are you in your cycle? What's estrogen like? Could it be a mold overgrowth? Are you moving? Things are flowing, etc. And what's that carb to fat ratio? If it's a high fat diet and a high carb diet, you're telling your body to hold on to everything as fat on the body.
I have a random question.
Sure.
So I had barbecue the other night,
Yep.
which I ate very nicely. And then I had 3 slices of watermelon, which I was like,
Hmm.
fantastic. There's some of my hydration that I need.
Great.
Wonderful. Except for I put it into the chronometer and it's like 700,000 carbohydrates. And I was like,
Yeah.
what the? And I got
Fruits have
so
carbs.
yeah, but it felt rude. It was excessive. And so I'm going like, well, do I need to take some of that with like a grain of salt where you go like, listen, I could have had the cupcake or I could have had the 3 slices of fresh watermelon and we're going to call it a day and not look at that carbohydrate count because I need to eat something.
Correct. So I
Okay.
always look at it as like it's a balance, right? With the watermelon, you're getting some fiber, you're getting some vitamin C, right? But it's still a carb at the end of the day. With cupcakes, it's just going to be all carbohydrates. So everything that we eat, even things that we drink, wine, alcohol, kombucha, even raw milk, right? All of these things that are put into this like really healthy category, they're going to have some level of a carb, protein, and fat inside of them. So again, this is where the getting away from, oh, it's a healthy food, that means I'm good to go. It still is going to be dependent on what does that breakdown look like for you and your body. So yes, people love to eat whole milk, drink whole milk. Great. If you can tolerate whole milk, I love that for you. It's a great source of fat, calcium, perfect. Absolutely. But it also comes with protein, it also comes with fat, it also comes with carbs. So it's always that trade-off and balance. Just because a food is healthy does not mean it has no, like it is not going to impact your caloric intake.
Okay.
Yeah. So give
So
yourself the freedom, right? Like, sorry, like you were saying with the summertime coming up, I'm gonna be at the barbecue. I'm gonna be at the beach. We're gonna have hoagies. We're gonna do pasta. It's okay to have those things, but it's just cannot be in every single meal, every single time, consistently day in and day out. That's when,
okay,
again, especially if you already have imbalances present, because now we're just working against the goals.
got it.
Yeah. So I want people to enjoy a glass of wine, enjoy, a Jack and Coke, like enjoy life, but it just can't be every single day, day in, day out, constantly, because at the end of the day, that's not going to be supporting any of the health goals that any of us here want. Caitlin, you can say something.
Only 25 grams of carbs in a bottle of red wine.
There we go.
How about
Heart health, For
How
all my
about white?
perimenopausal women, we love
Yeah.
and resveratrol and antioxidants. See, there we go. Perfect. But we're going to make sure we hydrate.
With the watermelon.
You know what? I love that. Sure,
It
absolutely.
feels it feels summery, right? That
It
feels
feels
appropriate.
summery. Absolutely.
We could do so
Sure.
much worse.
I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking a bottle of wine, but you can't do it every single night. It's just not a possibility unless you just don't care about your health. Again, there's also that option as well. But you just can't, you can do a bottle of wine. Sure, absolutely. Like, again, enjoy your life. There's so many benefits to red wine, white wine, antioxidants, resveratrol, anti-aging. I love all those things, but it just can't be in every single day type of situation. And please don't drink on an empty stomach. That's the one thing I beg of you. No alcohol on an empty stomach. You will overeat. You're going to eat more. It lowers your prefrontal cortex, so you're not going to make the best decisions, and you will overconsume in like triples and quadruples of how much you're going to eat. So no alcohol on an empty stomach. I beg of you. Enjoy the alcohol, but not on an empty stomach. Yeah. Any other questions food wise, postpartum wise, lab wise, hormone wise?
I got
You still
I
have tons
just
of
an
time.
update. I just came back from my second doctor's appointment.
Hmm.
Um, did not have to murder this doctor, so that was
Great.
great.
Fantastic.
And he upped my thyroid medication. So
Beautiful. There are some
hopefully,
providers out there that are not
yes,
total jerks. So that's great. I'm very happy to hear. Good, good, good,
thank
good,
you.
good.
Much
Yes.
better than last week's
Good.
experience.
Good. Anyone else have updates or questions in regards to anything hormone health wise? This is your time.
So I have a question that
Mhm.
might be a longer question, but one of the things that I'm trying to understand is if my birth control that I'm on is the right birth control for me at this phase in my life. And as we've talked about, one of the concerns of that is that it was making my thyroid medication not as effective. And I have high cholesterol blood work, which apparently is a side effect of this specific birth control. That being said, because it's the like dual hormone
Hmm.
whatever,
Hmm.
that might also be working as a like hormone kind of like replacement therapy, like a natural kind of like hormone replacement therapy, which might be helping some of the perimenopausal symptoms that I'm having.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask your opinion on, from what you know of my particular situation, does it make sense to potentially change the type of birth control I'm on to alleviate things like the cholesterol issue, but then we might be looking at my hormones go completely haywire, even more so than they already are, or maybe it's not doing that great of a job of managing my hormones as it is, since I'm having a lot of symptoms, there's something that might be a better fit. That's kind of my question for you.
So it would be like a pros versus con situation. So cholesterol we know is going to increase as women go through perimenopause just because estrogen is going to reduce the amount of receptors in the blood for cholesterol. So I personally would say focus on thyroid first. Like I wouldn't try to tackle everything all at once, right?
Yeah.
Many of us, including myself, our bodies are just overwhelmed, depleted, exhausted. So I would focus on thyroid first,
Yeah.
energy, and then as you start to see those things to improve, then look into exploring other forms of birth control. But I would be hesitant to try to do too many things all at once, especially because you just got medication
Yeah.
adjusted.
I'm not doing anything at the moment. I'm more so compiling, like, does it make sense for me to even go down that road? Meaning like 3, 6 months from now, once I hopefully get the thyroid issue a little bit more
Right.
stabilized and be able to see some of the other things alleviate? Or is the cholesterol just kind of what it is? And you go like, I'm either going to have it from the birth control or I'm going to have it from the perimenopause, and like it's working good. Like that, I don't know. I have so many symptoms of what I'm dealing with between the different things that I don't know what the cost benefit, I don't know what's coming from the birth control not necessarily being a positive, or it's good enough and like just shut up and, get through it.
With your total cholesterol, it's elevated predominantly because your triglycerides are high. And triglycerides are because of imbalanced blood sugar control within the body. So when you bring your triglycerides down, that total cholesterol will come down. So I wouldn't touch birth control at this point. I would focus on that blood sugar regulation to see that triglyceride level come down. Your cholesterol is barely, it's just a teeny tiny bit over.
Okay, and that's going to be mostly with the diet.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. Yeah. Yeah. So insulin would be the priority, thyroid and triglycerides. Those would be the three things. And then the next thing would be the cortisol, because that was on the lower side. And then so it would be, again, how are we going to attack it? We just can't do everything at once. Your body, again, it's tired, it's depleted. And that's
It's
why
so
even when
interesting because I went to this doctor today and I showed him all of he was like, let me see the other blood test results. So
yeah,
I showed him, the cortisol, the testosterone. He was like, all of this is totally fine and normal.
because it's
And
within range, right? So
because
remember,
it's
because
within
it's in with
range.
range.
But so how do you then moving forward go like, because you're telling me like it's on the floor, like it's not great, And so even though it's in the range, it's not what it should be functioning at. But how do you learn to advocate for yourself and understand the difference? It's like that's what's so frustrating why a year and a half ago I didn't pick up on some of this stuff because they're going like, oh, it's within range. It's within range for everybody on earth. It's like not ideal for where I am and my
Yeah.
point of life. And how do you tell the difference of those things and be able to tell, like tell a doc, like he looked at me and was like, your cortisol levels are fine. Your testosterone levels are what they should be as a woman. And I
Yeah.
go like, well, I don't know what to tell him, like as a
Yeah.
41-year-old perimenopausal one, where
But
should
you
my
can't tell
testosterone levels
anything
be? I
because,
don't
again,
know.
that's his training. So that's how he is trained. He's trained to look at labs and say, the computer didn't flag anything, you're fine. You're good to
Yeah.
go. But also remember those same testosterone levels, if a male were to go into the doctor's office with testosterone that what you had, he would be started on hormone replacement testosterone therapy immediately. I see it time and time again. So that's why when a doctor says, when another person will say, a patient will say to me, my provider doesn't think anything's wrong, I say, great. And if it were a man, he's going to get started on TRT today. We're giving him shots immediately. And again, you're on the cusp for every single thing. So remember, doctors that you're seeing, they want to make sure that you don't develop diabetes and cancer. They just want to make sure things don't become aggressive versus I feel crappy now. What can we do in this moment now?
Yeah.
So therein lies what that is. So the cutoff for cortisol at 7, you were at 9. He's going to say it's fine because the computer didn't tell him anything different.
Yeah.
So, in terms of advocating, you can just either find a provider who's going to listen. You can ask to have these other labs ran and see if they would do it. But again, that's their training. They're trained, okay, labs, normal, normal, normal,
It's
you're good to
more that.
go.
It's more that. It's how do you understand, but also like I don't have the training. So if I look at the labs, I don't know, like meaning from now on, does everything that I do need to go through you in order to understand where it actually should
Or
be
you start
and
with
what?
yourself, right? So even I think one of the videos, it's when you get your labs, go through your levels. What's low end and what's approaching the high end? So when you're getting your labs drawn and you're going through and you're like, okay, my glucose, the range is 65 to 99, I'm at 99, then you circle that. And that's already a conversation that you can have because they're not going to flag you until you're 100, right? When you're
Yeah.
looking at your iron or vitamin D 30 to 100, if you're at 30, you circle that. If you're at 31, circle that. You're like 1 point away. You're right on the cusp. So when you get your labs, you could do the exact same thing. Take the 5-10 minutes, sit with a nice, tea, put your feet up, and then just start to highlight things that are like borderline low or borderline high. And then you can be like, hey, what's vitamin D is low here. What are we gonna do about this? Hey, my iron, could that be why? Like it's okay to question and ask those questions. And then go from and ask for deeper if you want to. That's what I would say. Start with you getting your labs and then just going. That's how I review every single one's labs here. I'm always line by line. Okay, what's there? What's this should be? How old is this person? Okay, she perimenopause. Okay, perimenopause. We want it to be here. Okay, we want that's kind of what it is. And I almost certain I think I left a lot of lab ranges in the course there for you to take a look at. So that way you at least know the basics that I tell people, like, these are the ones that you should know. Like, everyone getting a yearly physical, when you get your cholesterol, triglycerides should not be higher than 80. If they're 120, then this is where you have the conversation. Maybe you start to figure out if your iron is at 14 or maybe 30, because I think the range is maybe 21, and you're single digits, then you circle and have that conversation, and go from there. But I, if I'm not, if I, I'm almost certain it's in the course, but if not, I'll make sure that I do have a handout on how to understand your just basic yearly labs and how much information we get from there. So the first step, again, this is where it's like we work together, we're active. First step would be get your labs, get that highlighter out, and just start circling. And this is where, I always say people, whenever you get labs done, request a copy for your own personal records. That way you can see your own trends of like, oh my gosh, I was at this level last year and I have tanked and plummeted. Like, you can compare and contrast.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I would be. And I think, Sarah, you did that, right? We pulled up some old labs and we took a look at things. Yeah. And we saw the trend, and there was like signs from months ago and even a year ago that things were on the down. But now, you have the power, you're armed with the information. These labs also take a look at men. So men's iron needs and vitamin D needs and testosterone are very different from women's. So we already know that they're not considering it as gender specific. So even just from there, you can start to be like, okay, well, this looks weird, this looks weird, this looks weird, and then just start kind of doing the circling and kind of figuring out where things are. So always request a copy of your labs, circle what is on the borderline of low, borderline high. Do not wait for the computer to say that this is an issue. By the time the computer flags something, your cells are already in crisis mode. We've missed 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months of rectifying it. Your body's already trying to be like, OMG, what are we going to do? How in the world can we catch up? And so now your body is trying to figure out all the ways in which to support you when it's been screaming. So we try to always ensure that we're not seeing highs and lows. And I know quite a few of you had labs done, and there were some highs, there were some lows, and it happens. It's okay. Don't be alarmed. But at least now you have the information and you're armed for going forward to what to be aware of. That's what I would say in terms of it. And until healthcare totally shifts and we have people that actually start to look at labs based on your age and your gender and what's going on with your body, that's just going to be one of those things where unfortunately it's going to have to fall on your shoulders. Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for a primary care provider?
The ones I do, I'm telling booked out until next year.
I think Dr. Kislova came up, but I think she's moving. I haven't
She
had
is.
a doctor in like 10 years, so.
Dr. Lindsay O'Brien, and I don't know if I didn't share this with everyone here, but naturopathic doctors just got licensure. So I'm going to go through the process, and I will be able to prescribe, and we will be considered primary care. What that process looks like, I don't know. We've only had literally this past maybe 2 weeks ago through legislature senate, so it'll be very similar to like when I was working in Arizona primary care, so that's exciting. I usually refer people to Dr. Lindsay O'Brien, but she's booked till January of 2026. She's in Elkins Park, and I have patients that see her, whatever labs I tell them to get, she just runs it. She just runs whatever, but she's booked until January. So if I can think of anyone else, I will definitely let you know, Caitlin. And hopefully my licensing through the state of Pennsylvania won't be crazy long to get, but that's just some great news that we just received from state legislature.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, of course, my pleasure. Sarah, talk to me.
I was just gonna say I don't know how function like how much she really understands hormones, but I see Angela Marchesani at Capital Health in Newtown, and she ran a bunch of the labs for me and was like on top of it a little bit ahead of time.
Hmm.
Like last year when I went, and she was like, "Well, things are on the cusp," and she's like referred me to other doctors who were not my favorite, but Angela, I think she's a nurse practitioner. She she's pretty decent.
She's the doctor, she's the nurse at
She's
Newtown.
the nurse practitioner. She's an
Nurse.
MD. Angela Marchesani. But yeah, she like year and a
I'm
half ago, 2 years ago, maybe, I don't even remember. She was like, you're starting to be like subclinical for hypothyroidism. Like, I'm gonna send you to an endocrinologist. And I had other stuff come up, and she's like, I'm gonna send you back to the OBGYN. And
Yeah.
it was not like the people I got referred to were not my most favorite, but her memory is incredible, and like she can puts it all together. Definitely not like Dr. D
So sweet.
looking at like all like your hormone levels from like a functional standpoint, but like willing to run labs for you and um yeah.
There you go.
I will check
Maybe
her
giving
out.
those, yeah, give those a try, Caitlin, and hopefully some of those work out. But like I said, Dr. Lindsay O'Brien is the one that I've always referred to, and her office just told me that she's not booking taking anyone else until January. So I was like, oh, okay then. Like,
Dr. D,
thanks.
wasn't there another doctor that a couple of strong moms have worked with through Capital Health? I think in
In Jersey, in Princeton?
yeah. I know Caitlin, the other
Yes.
Caitlin with the Caitlin V has worked, and also I think Carly McDonald. It's like a
Yep.
guy. I forget his name, but he seemed pretty flexible to work with you,
Hang on.
right?
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah. You know
Something
what?
with a K, maybe not Kieran, but something like that.
Hang on.
Michael. I think his
Carly.
name was
Let's
Michael.
see.
I think his name was Michael, first name. And he seemed pretty flexible as far as like willingness to work with you and listen to you.
I think Princeton, the Capital Health in Princeton, you're
Yeah,
right. I think I've heard better reviews
yeah.
from that facility and that location than the one in PA. But yes, you are correct. There is. And there might be another one, to be honest, but the name escapes me right now. But
I'm trying to look
um,
it up.
yeah, Sarah, I would go with Sarah's recommendation, nurse
Mhm.
practitioners. I will say though, I have been finding more nurse practitioners are definitely a lot more open
Yes. Yeah.
to
Mhm.
running more of the labs and some MDs. And
Mhm.
surprisingly, I find some of the older docs that have been practicing for 30, 40 years, I think they're just realizing how messed up the healthcare system is. They are running labs a lot easier than some of the newer docs that feel like they have to be by the book and as
Mm.
strict. Um, there's a doctor out in Lehigh that I refer people to, and he's been in practice for 40 plus years. And whatever I say, he's like, yeah, we'll do it. Khadijah, whatever you want for this person, we'll do it. So finding it's the nurse practitioners and doctors that have been in practice for decades versus some of the newer docs that are just like, we have to do it by the book type of situation.
Yeah. Is it Michael Kalina? Is that the one?
That sounds
No.
familiar.
I
No?
don't know. Maybe that's the wrong. No, I'm trying to find him. Oh, Krevelin. That's it.
Yeah.
Krevelin. I know it's a K. Okay.
There we go.
So Michael
Thank you.
Krevelin, he's family medicine. I'm trying to see which location he's in for Capital Health. But if anyone, I know that a couple of strong moms have highly recommended him.
Krevlin I think is in Yardley.
Okay, that even
Yeah.
better. So convenient locate. Yeah, it looks like you're right. It looks like yep. So that
Yeah.
might be another option for anyone. I need to switch primaries too. I'm in Capital Health, but mine left years ago and I haven't gone back and I needed to establish a doctor. So maybe I'll try him.
Yeah.
I'll s- I'll say also on the doctor that I've been seeing, who I saw today, who was very receptive and understanding and had had a real legitimate like bedside manner. Was like, okay, here's, there's all of the numbers and there's all of the like what's going on in your body and how you're feeling. Let's work this out and figure out a plan and execute the plan. And that's Dr. Green, who's also at the Yardley office. And I've liked
Ah,
him as far as his bedside manner. I
another
will say
Michael.
there's another doctor there that I did not appreciate at all
Mhm.
and did not like listening to women. And so we're not going to see him again and might have some follow-up conversations with the office administrator.
Another one now I'm looking at the website, Katerina Kisilova. I think she's also, I'm pretty sure the other Caitlin V had said that she was a great backup to Dr. Krevlin if she
She
couldn't
was
get
highly recommended, but she's moving and
He's leaving.
Oh
Yeah.
darn it.
no.
Darn
Where's she moving to?
I feel like I
Not sure.
heard like South Carolina or something, like
Oh,
I
not.
she's
think
like
that's right.
I'm pretty sure I
Yeah.
heard she's like moving.
she's not going to another borough. She's like crossing state lines here. Okay.
And
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if anyone's worked with Dr. Gari. She's at Salis Well Care. She's an MD. I've had a couple people that have worked with her. She's definitely open to running all the tests in the practice there. I don't know what pricing looks like. I just remembered, I'm like, trying to think of who else I know that's in that area. Her last name is Ghauri, Ghauri, at Salis Wellcare in Newtown. But if I think of anything else, I'll always, comment and share. But those are the ones I could think of. Anyone else I know of, it's either like Lehigh or maybe even Delco. I think. I think. But maybe Caitlin, I would say start with those ones, give them a go, and see if there's any success there. I think there was a doctor in, is it Buckingham or Hollycong? I know she's been recommended quite a few times in some of the
Hetty.
Newtown.
I know that there's one that's a OB,
Yes.
gynecologist, Hetty. She doesn't do baby. Actually, she's a gynecologist. She doesn't do babies, but she's apparently like booked out forever and ever.
Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of these docs are booked, like really, really, really booked out. There's what's her name? Dr. Kostastos. She just does perimenopausal care. She
Oh.
has made her entire practice perimenopausal. She is Horsham.
Oh, where is she? Okay, what's her name again? I'm gonna look her up.
Dr. Kostastos, Kos, and then tacos, Kostastos. But
Nice.
she's, shifted her entire, she was OBGYN and then just did completely gyne and then completely just within the past maybe year, 2 years, rededicated her entire practice to perimenopause, postmenopause.
I love that.
Yeah, she's super friendly. I've referred tons of people to her. Yeah. So there are options in regards to that. Again, I don't know how far she's booking out till, but I definitely have referred and sent quite a few people over to her as well. Yeah. Any other questions, provider recommendations?
No, I don't like to bash anyone, but if you're looking in Capitol Health, I would run from Stephanie Schwartz. That was not a good.
Experience
She told me whatever my iron ferritin is
was normal, was okay.
was totally normal, and I could stop taking iron supplements.
Were we looking at the same labs?
My prenatal should be fine. I'm like, well, it is, the computer even flagged it as out of range. She's like, it's fine. I'm like, okay, next person.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay.
So
All right. So no
if
to
you're
Stephanie
searching,
Schwartz.
sometimes it's like it takes a long time to find the right person. Just don't waste your time with that one. Pick someone else.
Thank you for that. I love this. Any other recommendations or questions?
Well, since we're talking about people that suck, we can talk about Dr. Caro, who really sucked horribly.
And he or she is with
He is with Yardley Capital Health.
Yardley Capital Health. Okay.
Was atrocious bedside manner, and
That's a shame.
insane to a level that I walked out of the office and we're having follow-ups. Like, it was astounding.
Oh, no. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, hopefully the providers that you find, Dr. Kostastos, she's lovely. I don't know about this nurse practitioner, but like I said, my experience has been lovely with any NP that I have heard of or referred to. And if you can get in with I keep saying Lindsay O'Brien, but I think it's almost Lauren O'Brien. She's in Elkins Park. Lovely, yeah, Dr. Lauren. I don't know why I keep calling her Lindsay. Lauren O'Brien. She is Elkins Park, but again, don't know. I mean, you might be able to get on her waiting list, but I do know that she is booking out. They've told me to stop referring. So there's that. But definitely she's very, very open. Like I said, my patients that see her, I give them labs. She runs. There's no questions asked. We do a lot of collaborative care as well. So there's that. So maybe you'll be able to get in on one of her books. I find that summertime with everyone traveling to the shore might be a really great time to get on set. Like if you aren't going to be traveling as much, that might be a great time to get in with someone because people are constantly canceling and traveling. So that you might get lucky then. And then, fall, it picks back up and everyone's back into their routine. So it might be harder at that point, but maybe you might get lucky with like a last minute cancellation during the summertime if you're not going to be traveling as much. That might be helpful for you.
Awesome. I'm checking her out now.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Super friendly.
Thank you.
Super kind. You're super welcome. Team, is there anything else? Like I said, you will continue to have access. There will be an email sent out this evening with everything else, what comes next, follow-ups, how to continue supporting yourselves, X, Y, and Z. But was there anything else in this moment that I can answer for anyone that we haven't addressed? No.
Should
Remember,
I had 3 supplements. One of them was I'm
I'm gonna message you in regards to, yeah.
The other two, I would like to know, I'm gonna give it a break for a little while because I feel like I'm just overloaded. And now that my thyroid medication is getting adjusted as of today, hopefully I'll see. But I would like to know what your thoughts are on those other two supplements, if I should try them again,
Sure,
like
for sure.
slowly, or what.
Yep. I've made a note with that one. Not a problem. And then also to look into Chronometer, messaging the Practice Better IT team. Resistant start carbs are now, we know they are dressed carbs. So thank you very much, Caitlin, for sharing that. Anything else in closing? Remember, you're not behind, you're right on time. Take it one day at a time, and nutrition is always the hardest. So it doesn't need to be perfect. It does not need to be perfect, but your body just wants some kind of fuel. Something. Something is better than nothing.
Caitlin, we'll schedule that wine and watermelon party soon.
There we go. We
That sounds
can't. Oh,
great.
perfect. Wine, watermelon. I love it. I love it. I love it. I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for hanging out with me these past few weeks. Hopefully you've enjoyed the content, the information, and we will continue to remain in touch and collaborate to make sure that you get all of the health goals that you're looking for and support in any and all ways. And if there's anything, just message me directly. That portal will still remain open for you all.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
so
you so
very
much. This was
welcome.
so
You are
helpful.
Happy
awesome.
Wednesday. Oh, team, you're the best. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, everyone, okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.